On June 12, 2026, a stadium in Toronto erupted. Not for a goal, not for a player, for a woman in all red who walked to the center of that pitch and in the span of a single performance redrew the map of global pop stardom. To the casual Western sports fan watching from their couch, she was a stunning new face. A bold choice from FIFA for the World Cup anthem stage. Beautiful, electric, commanding. But to the hundreds of millions watching from India, from Morocco, from the UAE, from the South Asian and North African diaspora scattered across every corner of the planet, this was something else entirely. This wasn't a debut, this was a return. And it wasn't just a performance, it was a corporate heist executed over a decade in plain sight. This is Nora Fatehi, this is The Homecoming Matrix, and today we're breaking down exactly how she weaponized cross-cultural displacement to build one of the most strategically unique entertainment empires on the planet. Welcome back to The Celeb's Mindset. Let's start by understanding what made Nora's story different from the very beginning. Because the most important strategic decision she ever made wasn't a dance move or a deal, it was a flight. Nora Fatehi was born and raised in Toronto, Canada, first-generation Moroccan-Canadian. From a very early age, she understood something that most young artists in her position spend years trying to unlearn. The Western entertainment industry has a glass ceiling, and for someone with her specific background, Arab heritage, non-European features, a style that didn't map neatly onto any existing Western pop archetype, that ceiling was real and it was low. Most artists in that situation spend years grinding against that ceiling, trying to fit themselves into whatever mold the local industry is currently selling. Nora did the exact opposite. She looked at the map, identified where her specific combination of traits would be considered not just acceptable, but extraordinary, and she made a move that looked, at the time, like a massive gamble. She packed her bags and flew to Mumbai. This is what we call tactical exile. It's one of the most underrated strategic moves in the entertainment playbook, and almost nobody talks about it. The principle is simple. If your home market undervalues what you bring to the table, don't waste years fighting for recognition you'll never get. Find the market where your unique intersection of skills, background, and aesthetics has zero competition, and dominate it so completely that your home market has no choice but to come to you. Bollywood was that market for Nora, and when she arrived, she didn't ease in quietly. She disrupted. What she brought to Mumbai was something the industry had never quite seen before. A fusion of Moroccan Arab belly dance technique with the high-energy, emotionally charged visual language of Indian cinema. It looked familiar enough to feel at home in a Bollywood production, but different enough to stop you mid-scroll. The combination was magnetic in a way that was almost impossible to copy because you couldn't manufacture it. It came from who she actually was. The numbers told the story fast. Dilbar crossed 1 billion views and made her the most watched belly dance performance in internet history. Oh Saki Saki followed. One massive, record-breaking visual moment after another, each one cementing a brand that was genuinely impossible to categorize. Too Indian for the Western market, too Western for traditional Bollywood, and yet somehow absolutely at home in both. That's the sweet spot. That's the arbitrage. She found a category of one and filled it so completely that the category became her name. But here's the part of the Nora Fatehi story that most people skip over. Building a billion-view brand in Bollywood was never the end goal. It was the foundation. It was step one of a much longer plan, the slow, deliberate accumulation of leverage that she would eventually cash in on the biggest stage in the world. Fast forward to 2026. FIFA is preparing to launch the most ambitious World Cup in its history. 48 teams, 3 host nations, the United States, Canada, and Mexico, an audience spanning every continent, and a very specific problem: how do you find an anthem that doesn't just appeal to one region, one culture, one demographic? How do you make one song feel global in a way that's actually true, not just a marketing line? The answer apparently was Nora. Her anthem for the Toronto ceremony, Seer Seer, is deceptively simple in concept and incredibly precise in execution. The title itself, Seer Seer, is Arabic for go, go, immediate, kinetic, action-oriented. A phrase that doesn't need translation to land because the energy carries it. The collaboration was engineered just as carefully. Pairing Nora with French Ivorian artist Vegedream brought the francophone African diaspora into the mix, one of the fastest-growing and most culturally influential demographics in modern pop music. Producer Sanjoy, whose work sits at the intersection of South Asian and global pop production, added a sonic layer that made the track feel simultaneously fresh and familiar to audiences across North America and South Asia. The result was a song that didn't feel like it was trying to represent multiple cultures. It felt like it actually came from all of them at once, and the audience responded accordingly. Within 72 hours of the Toronto ceremony, Seer Seer was the #1 trending audio across North America and South Asia simultaneously. Two markets that almost never agree on the same thing at the same time. That's not luck, that's architecture. And this is where the real lesson of the homecoming matrix comes into focus, because what Nora pulled off in Toronto wasn't just a career moment, it was a financial and commercial repositioning that most artists never even attempt. Think about who was watching that performance, not just the casual sports fan. Every luxury brand looking to break into the South Asian market, every streaming platform trying to grow its Bollywood and Arabic language content library, every consumer goods company that wants to speak credibly to the North African and Middle Eastern diaspora in North America and Europe. Every fashion house trying to find an ambassador who doesn't just appeal to one demographic, but genuinely lives across all of them. This is what we call the multi-market royalty engine. Nora's commercial value isn't built on reach in one country, it's built on simultaneous relevance in multiple markets that are usually completely separate from each other: Canada, India, Morocco, the UAE, the South Asian diaspora in the UK, the North African diaspora in France. These are not overlapping audiences, they do not normally share a cultural figure. Nora Fatehi is one of the only people on the planet who can speak authentically to all of them in the same breath. When a premium brand sponsors Nora, they aren't buying a local advertisement in one market, they are buying a transcontinental bridge. A single partnership with her gives them credible, authentic access to multiple high-spending demographics at once. And in a world where audiences are increasingly skeptical of performative diversity in marketing, that authenticity isn't just nice to have. It's the whole product. The Toronto World Cup performance was the moment that made all of this undeniable to the Western side of the industry. She didn't come back to Canada asking for a seat at the table, she came back as the table itself. A decade of work in Mumbai had transformed her from a promising Canadian dancer into a global brand that the biggest event on the planet chose as its centerpiece in her home country. That is leverage. Real, structural, undeniable leverage. And it was built slowly, deliberately, one strategic move at a time. So what's the actual lesson here? It's this: the fastest path to dominating your home market is sometimes to leave it entirely. Not to run away, to build. To go somewhere your specific combination of traits, background, and skills is genuinely valued. Build something real and undeniable there, and then return to where you started, not as a hopeful newcomer, but as a proven, documented force that the home market cannot ignore. Nora left Toronto as an unknown dancer with a dream and a plane ticket. She came back to Toronto as the centerpiece of the World Cup, performing in all red, under a stadium full of red confetti, in the city that once had no space for her. That's the homecoming matrix. That's a decade of patience turned into a single, unforgettable statement. Was Nora's Toronto takeover the ultimate validation of a 10-year grind? Or does her story prove that in 2026, the only artists who truly survive are the ones willing to build their power where it's actually valued, regardless of how far from home that takes them? Drop your take in the comments below, and if you want more breakdowns of the strategies the world's biggest names use to build real, lasting power, make sure you're subscribed to the Celebs Mindset. We're decoding the minds that move the culture, and we're just getting started.